look. I don't think I have the comments running on X. Darn it, I've done it again. Go through your comments. All right. I've got the video open now on X, and you know, it's really hilarious. I'm looking at the numbers on X, and I find it fascinating because all of our broadcasts on X pretty much get anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 viewers. As soon as I talk about the AI World Society, all of a sudden the numbers are much, much lower. So I just find that fascinating because it's certainly not something that people don't care about. Let me have a look at these comments in Rumble. I can't see anyone's commenting on whether they can see what I'm seeing. Back to Instagram. We can see where you were pointing. Let me go back to it one more time. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll just show you one more time. And before I do, actually, let me do this. Jesus on cross. Just look at sideways. Like a sideways image, for example, like this image here on the far right-hand side, right? So from the side, you're looking from the side, you see he's got something around his waist, okay? Now go back to this and consider this individual is on their side, arms stretched out, wrapped around the waist. There's the face here, the same color as the torso, the hair on top, and the blood here. That I'll let you guys decide, but I think that it is very, very concerning that it was clear to me. It's been clear to quite a few people that I've shown. And you can look at that. You can just go to OpenAI's announcing the Stargate project page and have a look at it yourself. And it really is in line with Revelation. It's in line with the fact that when the beast system comes and when people are forced to take the mark, they will be killed for their non-compliance. And so that's what the Bible says. And it may be what OpenAI thinks. I don't know. The other quick thing I want to talk to everyone about before we finish up and go to your comments is the press release about the Federal Reserve Board announcing that it's withdrawn from the network of central banks and supervisors for greening the financial system. Okay. Someone said that this means the IRS is done. That's not how I'm perceiving this. They've withdrawn from the agenda of greening the financial system. Okay. So this was a Mayor Brown publication on this. So they have withdrawn from the network for greening the financial system due to concerns that its activities exceeded the Federal Reserve's and the FDIC's statutory mandates, and amid increasing scrutiny of U.S. regulators' participation in non-treaty international organizations. This decision could signal broader legislative changes affecting U.S. involvement in international finance and climate-related organizations. Okay, so I wonder whether that has something to do with this. Do you remember last week when we covered this article that the UN-sponsored climate cartel has suspended its activities after being abandoned by BlackRock? Do you remember we were talking about that? And we were saying that the Net Zero Asset Managers Initiative, which is a coalition of major investors promoting net zero emissions by 2050, suspended its activities on Monday after losing key members, including BlackRock. So BlackRock pulled out, particularly following Donald Trump's election victory. BlackRock pulled out. It wasn't just BlackRock. Some of the bleeding members of NZAM in recent months include Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase Co., Bank of America, and Wells Fargo, the latest companies to leave NZAM. And then they stopped operating after BlackRock's exit on Thursday. So BlackRock have pulled out of the green scam. Why? This was one of the biggest ways that the UN was going to achieve Agenda 2030. Are you telling me BlackRock just gave up? You telling me that all the globalists just gave up? Have they been completely defeated? Or has their focus shifted instead to investing in more and more in AI, because the current AI that they have has determined that this particular scam just isn't going to fly with people anymore. We need to pivot. And I am still digging into this, but look at this. This is so huge. The end of the Green Deal per Welt. The new agenda for Europe as a business location. Next week, the EU Commission will officially present its program for the next 5 years. Welt already has access to the confidential draft. It is an unprecedented break with current policy. Instead of the climate, the focus is now on easing the burden on the economy. So did they just push and push and push as much destruction as humanly possible to get us to the point of exhaustion where we just threw our hands up and said, okay, do what you want? Not do what you want, but we need a new solution. We need a new solution. Get us a new solution. And they say, okay, we're gonna give you populism, but it's going to come with an AI dictatorship. I'm not saying that's what Donald Trump is doing, but I am saying that BlackRock isn't investing in climate anymore, but they're investing in AI. They're investing in XAI. They're investing in Musk. What's going on here? Well, we can see the executive order for strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology, which I think is fantastic in the sense that President Trump kept his promise on CBDCs. And basically, he's banned CBDCs, okay? He's made sure that federal CBDCs under the control of central banks are not going to be implemented. That was an election promise. The problem is that we are, and he's saying, protecting and promoting the ability of individual citizens and private sector entities alike to access and use for lawful purposes open public blockchain networks without persecution, including the ability to develop and deploy software, to participate in mining and validating, to transact with other persons without unlawful censorship, and to maintain self-custody of digital assets. So it's good because he's written in protections for people who are going to utilize digital currencies. But it also signals that digital currencies are inevitable. And the problem with digital currencies is that no matter how much you say that they're freedom-based and privacy coins and blah, 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 eventually you'll have a situation where those that control them will be regulating certain things. It's still a method of control. You can code in. And people always argue with me about this. But it is a matter of who has got the reins. Maybe right now you can't, but tomorrow you can code in whatever restrictions you want on that digital currency. It's very simple how this works. It's digital. You can control it in whichever way you want. That's what digital is. So I'm grateful that he's written in some protections for people, but I don't see digital currency as freedom in any way, shape, or form, simply because it's the ultimate method of control. I think that President Trump knows that it's inevitable. I think that he knows that there's an AI arms race. We all know that. We all know that. Unfortunately, the world is going to shape and shift and change significantly. And I don't think that it will be for the better. I think that President Trump has, like I said, written in some things to protect people while this is happening. But the end game or the end goal or the end result of everything going AI and digital is going to be not great for humanity at the end of it. I think there are ways that we can capitalize on it now. I think that, I'm very AI adverse. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good thing. But could we potentially use it for some things to help prepare for the AI revolution so that people aren't out of work? I'm not going to tell people what to do. I'm certainly not going to encourage engagement with AI, but I do think that there needs to be a certain level of education around it that needs to happen quicker rather than later, so that people aren't essentially left in the rust belt, as The Guardian wrote about some time ago. All of a sudden, their jobs ripped out from under them. Zuckerberg's already getting rid of people and replacing them with AI. I mean, it's already happening. So I'm telling you all of these things, even though it's not good news. I want to warn people to prepare for this and prepare in whichever way you best can. You know, if it means understanding crypto a little bit better, I'm doing my best to start understanding it a little bit better. Not that I think it's a good system. I'm just trying to educate myself on these things to be able to navigate this world and educate others in it as well. And so we've got a lot. We've got a lot of changes coming, or everything that's happening here is going to affect the whole world. And I think that someone's just pressed the button and said, let's go with AI. Was it President Trump knowing that if he doesn't control it, it's going to be disastrous for humanity? Okay, you can make that argument, but then why get fellows like Sam Altman and Larry Ellison on board and Musk? These are people with you know, repeated patterns of behavior that are extremely questionable, and ties to intelligence agencies that are extremely questionable. So we will see how things go, and I'm just being as honest as I can with you guys. I will always give credit where credit is due. When things are done that are good, and there's strong leadership and good representation, we should always talk about those things and demand better when there are things that we don't like. I just cannot believe the social engineering that happens on places like X, where dissidents are just punished for having negative opinions, suppressed or punished. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that really spells the future ahead if we don't get a grip on this now. And we don't realize that some of these players in this AI space do not have humanity's best interest at heart. The quicker we admit that, the sooner we can kind of stop their destruction. And I'll say I watched, what's it called now? Is it 2078? Is that the movie? 2078 movie? Yeah, 2073? No, it's 2078. I watched this movie last night, guys. And I'll say it looks like this. I'll show you. If you haven't seen it, it's this one. 2070. It's called 2078, but the thumbnail says 2073, so I'm really confused. Let me text someone who knows. Anyway, while I wait for that text, I really recommend everyone watches it. There are some sort of climate undertones, and the thing that was really interesting was that what they were pointing to in terms of what they call climate change were real disasters. They are actually disasters that have happened. Now, they, probably are of the opinion that it's because we're all breathing too much and emitting too many fumes from our cars. But what is actually happening is these disasters are real. They're on the rise. And it's because these maniacs keep messing with our weather. They keep geoengineering. They keep spraying. They keep, ground operations, air operations, sea operations, of course, HARP, DEWs, DEWs, all of this, just to be clear, all of this is all adding to the problems of the climate. And so are they just going to pull back from all their climate stuff and say, you know what, let's just wreck the joint? Let's get AI and let's just wreck the joint. Because remember, when we did the expose on the National and Oceanic Administration in America, the NOAA, we showed that they were uploading all of and Larry Ellison as well, I've heard him talking about omics. They upload all of their geoengineering projects into the cloud. And I thought, why is this all on the internet? Why on earth are they admitting to this online? And then I learned that because of their omics strategy, they had a mandate that by the year 2025, they had to upload everything into the cloud so that AI would be able to assess it. Why? Well, if you feed AI that you need to do constant geoengineering, guess what AI is going to spit out? We need more geoengineering. right? So you can pull out of your net zero nonsense when you have AI making the decisions. Essentially, there's been a transition to hand the reins to AI, which we always warned would happen. I think it's just happening a lot quicker than people expected. And so we'll see how this all plays out in America. We'll see how it all plays out. But I do recommend, the movie is 2073, guys. Apologies for my confusion. It is definitely 2073. And I really recommend you watch it. Just ignore, some of the lefty programming, if you will. There isn't much of it. But look at the future that is projected here, and consider the information war from the side of other people, because what you'll actually find in that film is lefty journalists that have been attacked, silenced, imprisoned, deplatformed. It doesn't just happen to conservatives, and you really have to ask why. And I've heard of this, but for such a long time, we were used to the system attacking conservative values. We look at things from the conservative paradigm, but actually what it is anyone who goes against the system. And what's happening right now to conservatives and even people in the MAGA movement who are challenging, they're being labeled woke right. They've become dissidents, even though they've always been loyalists. And so I really do recommend this movie. If you have the time, it's about 1 hour and 20. It's done very, very well. And it will give you a different perspective for sure. And it'll definitely open your eyes up to some of the things that are happening, or coming down the pipeline, I should say, rather. I want to give a quick reminder to everyone before I go to your comments. This is the last week-ish for Stockman Stakes, who extended their offer into the end of January. So anyone who goes, let me just remind you all, this is guaranteed mRNA-free and guaranteed no bovea meat. Okay, it is so tasty. I miss it, but my whole family eats it in Australia, and that's all I ate when I was there. And they are people that share our values. They care about what you and your family put into your bellies. They absolutely are freedom people, and anyone who's interacted with them can tell you that. They share our values. You give them a call, you talk to them. They're amazing, Stephen. There, big shout out to Stephen. Good people. So everyone who spends $250 this month gets a free 4-pack of premium Wagyu burger patties. And if you spend $400, you get a free 8-pack of premium Wagyu burger patties. All you need to do is enter the code Maria at the checkout to claim your goodies, and you can let your friends and family know as well to take advantage of the offer. We are so grateful for their support of Zeee Media, but also their support of our customers. These offers are of our viewers, their customers. These offers are exclusive to Zeee Media viewers, and they always look after our people. So take advantage of that before the end of the month. Again, the promo code at the checkout is Maria, and make sure that you're getting quality meat that you can trust for you and your loved ones. It's so important in a time where we just don't know what they're putting in the food. Bovea, glue, God knows what else. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. We cannot trust the meat. But Stockman Steaks guarantees no mRNA, no bovea, and they work with a network of farmers who really care about preserving the quality of meat and preserving the industry. And you know what? Hopefully the climate madness ends and we can keep eating meat. But nonetheless, we have to keep supporting our farmers and keep them in the fight. So again, big shout out to Stockman. Okay, let me go. I had so much more to get through, but I'm going to go to your comments now because we're almost at 2 hours. I can pretty much talk all night. You guys know me. Let me have a look. Yes, the movie is 2073 for those asking on Instagram. They're saying they're playing games with us. It's their entertainment, plenty of predictive programs to choose from. Yeah, well, there is. I think I've been speaking for some time about the algorithmic manipulation of humanity that I see is happening. I see that there is so much social engineering going. You know, I keep bringing up the H-1B debate, but that was just a massive, massive thing in the US, and I just watched how people were just squashed for talking about it, and there was instantly, and part of this, by the way, part of this is just the news cycle, right? The news cycle, it shifts. Every day your attention is constantly being pulled away from things that matter to things that also matter or maybe don't, or our attention span is ruled by algorithms, and our ability to really hone in and investigate things is severely impeded because of the way that algorithmic manipulation works. And I think it was Yuval that was saying he who owns the algorithm is essentially God, like I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he was saying. Now, I certainly don't believe that. There is only one God. It's certainly not a technocrat. But we are subjected to that algorithmic manipulation. That is without a doubt. I'm surprised the YouTube stream's still going. I thought that would have cut me off by now. I've said a lot of spicy things. So let me see. Bride removed, 7-year tribulation, second coming, 1,000-year reign of Christ. So I'm an Orthodox Christian. The Orthodox Church has a very different understanding about eschatology and the 1,000-year reign. We've got an interview coming out with Father Peter Hears, which I really encourage people to watch. I believe that's coming out on Sunday, but we'll notify on socials. And of course, it'll be up on Rumble. We'll probably put it on YouTube as well, actually, because that's safe. Even though this live probably isn't. But we'll get that up, and I encourage people to listen to it. Just listen to a different point of view. So I think that that's good. We should never stop learning when it comes to Christianity and the Bible. Crypto is an AI could be linked to the mark of the beast system. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is. So let's go to your comments on Rumble. Let's take a look. See. So, Ukraine, BlackRock owns the country and the Jews need a new home. It's very interesting. They have actually moved a lot of people from Israel to Ukraine. There is a whole thing about that. I saw a lady posting, her neighborhood is now like filled with Hebrew writing. There's no Ukrainian language around to be seen anymore. It's pretty wild. Someone saying, I suggest you stop participating in the scam that voting is. I understand that perspective because you look and you see a uni party and you see bad outcomes either way. The system of government that we have, we can absolutely fight to change that system of government. And, I'm all ears for a different system of government and how we actually achieve that goal. But I certainly don't condemn people for participating in the current system because they're presented with two choices and they always go with the lesser of two evils. A lot of people felt that way with this election. They weren't happy about, and I'm not, insinuating Trump is evil or anything of that nature. What I'm saying is that, he moved his perspective when it came to abortion. He became more liberal on these things. He changed his position on immigration as well. It was much more aligned to the tech oligarch vision about these things. And so people were feeling like, well, what do I do? Well, one option's disastrous day one, and one may do some good things or make my life easier. That at least people that I was talking to, some of them felt that way. Some legitimately felt that Trump was the best thing and was going to change the entire nation. He's certainly changing it. Which way it heads in and what some of these good things and some of these bad things are going to look like is yet to be seen. It's only week one. But needless to say, AI mRNA can go to hell. This is probably what happened to the last high-tech civilization. They all had this, built the pyramids for a power plant, then they blew themselves up. I don't necessarily subscribe to a last high-tech civilization, but I can imagine that if it ever was to exist, that is exactly how it would have ended. Let's have a look. Stop voting people. What government is not parasitical? We the people worldwide need to remove all these people, somehow replace them in positions of power with good. Yeah, again, I'm open to ideas on how we change the political system. The fact that we have a two-party system is outrageous. With so many awake people, we should have far better system than a two-party system. But I think that a lot of people don't want to be involved in politics, or it's not just that, the uniparty that exists in so many nations, even if other parties rise up, they seem to overshadow them, you know? AI, artificial idiocy. Didn't Trump say he wanted to bring back firing squads and guillotines? I don't know about that, but he has signed, restored the death penalty. I can show you that. So he's restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. Now, what I said about this was that there are two key things that he said during his campaign, which was the death penalty for the murder of a law enforcement officer or a capital crime committed by an illegal alien. The thing that concerned me was where it said the government's most solemn responsibility. Let me just find those words on there. Stymie. Okay. So the government's most solemn responsibility is to protect its citizens from abhorrent acts, and my administration will not tolerate efforts to stymie and eviscerate the laws that authorize capital punishment against those who commit horrible acts of violence. My question is, does the death penalty extend to citizens who are committing abhorrent acts? And if so, what does abhorrent acts actually mean? So I guess we're going to have to wait to see further definitions on this. Again, those two things were his campaign policies, campaign promises. If you kill a police officer and crimes committed by illegals. However, I will say, what happens if the police force is ever weaponized against people again, like it was during COVID? What happens if you have a robot dog who is considered part of the police force that goes rogue and goes on a killing spree, or misidentifies its target? You know, it has rights, doesn't it? Because it's a member of society now. It's an object in the AI world society. It has rights. So what happens in those instances? Or what happens if the cops go rogue? I'm not ever suggesting that we should ever commit violence against police. I'm just saying, what happens in a martial law situation? What protections are there for citizens against that? Because we've seen, you know, things reminiscent of martial law situations during COVID. Certainly, you know, the Australian police shot at innocent protesters with rubber bullets. Canadian police ran over people with horses and broke their ribs. So, I mean, what what protections are there for those people? So those are my questions about that. Can I subscribe to a low-tech civilization? If you find one that isn't like, that doesn't mean I have to go and live in an Amish community, let me know. In a representative republic, your vote is your voice. Anyone who doesn't vote does not deserve to speak. It's a good point. But that's whether we actually have an honest system or not. Honestly, the only, you know, a couple of people in Congress that I've seen have made some really good moves. MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, yeah, MTG, and Thomas Massey. I mean, I've almost consistently agreed with everything that he's done. He makes the most sense. He puts people first. He is 100% committed to the Constitution, even if it means he's been seen as an obstructionist. Why? Because he puts the Constitution above party loyalty? I'm sorry, that's not obstructionism. That's morality. So, I'll defend Thomas Massey all the way. He's such a good man, and I've met him in person. I've spent time with him. He is the same in person as he is. He cares so much. He wears his little US debt badge everywhere he goes. And he cares so much about this country. I can't explain to you how passionate he is about doing the right thing. He heard my concerns as a journalist reporting on US issues, genuinely heard my concerns, took my concerns on board. So he's a great man. Someone's saying, I follow Maria on X. I see nothing that she posts anymore. Yeah, that's happening to me as well with people I'm interested in. One thing that you can do if you go and follow us on X, by the way, if you're not following us on X, do that. So I'm the most active on Telegram, but you can find us on X. It's at Zeee_Media, and you can turn on notifications for the account as well. So you can follow us on X. And I want to remind people, if you're not following us on Rumble, you should be, because Rumble is awesome. And we've never been censored on there before, and so I'll always have positive things to say about them because they've never censored me even once. And we're starting to slowly grow. There was a bit of a stagnation of growth for a while there, but you can go to Zeee Media and follow us on there, and also make sure to just stay on top of our socials. So our Instagram, maria.zeee. I've started to get more active on there again. Facebook, I still sometimes try and put stuff out, but it's just so squashed. There almost isn't a point. X, still managing to get stuff out, but the main place is Telegram. And obviously our Rumble, you catch our lives and our interviews on here all the time. With all of the concern about digital currency, I want to remind people about Gold Bullion Australia Group. These guys are amazing. I use them myself personally. You can visit them in store or via the link in the description below, or give them a call on 1300-754-602. They've got offices all over Australia, but you can also get it securely delivered as well. So you have that option also, or stored at one of their facilities. They have storage as well. Very, very secure, extremely secure. We did an interview some time ago when they opened their Sydney office and showed the vault, and it's just this magnificent vault, very, very old historic bank vault. It's beautiful, but so secure. And it's gorgeous. And their customer service is fantastic. They'll be patient with you. They'll answer all of your questions. Their pricing is very fair, competitive in the market. And really their service is incredible. So yeah, visit them, talk to them, let them know Maria Zeee sent you. They will look after you. And if you're in the US, you can go to kepm.com/Maria. That's our good friend, Dr. Kirk Elliott. He will also look after you. I think it's really important to consider this. With this rise of digital currency and push towards digital currency, things are going to change very, very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. But the one thing that isn't going to change is tangible assets. And I, for one, I was just saying this to Dr. Elliott, I, for one, am glad that I learned about this when I did and got in a little bit early. It's still not too late, but with the way that things are moving, silver's going to keep going up. That's what all the experts keep saying. And so I think, especially with, increase in robotics and things of this nature, that's all silver. So I think it's wise to look into this. I really do. I think we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. We've been going for 2 hours, so I really appreciate you all. Thank you for someone saying I watch more of X than Rumble. Yeah, see, it's very addictive. X is very addictive. I said that from the start. I said something about the app I don't really understand, because I'm not a person that loves or gets addicted to social media. And yet I feel like I'm personally very drawn to X, and I don't understand it. It's strange to me. It's just not like me to get drawn to an app like that. I said that from the start, and you all know I've been warning about it from the start as well. So in saying all of this, I want to finish on this. Yes, some of these things are alarming. Yes, things seem to be moving in some ways in a negative direction, but there are some positive things that have happened. It'll be interesting to see the effects on the world now that BlackRock have pulled out of net zero. There could be some really positive changes that happen. There could be some horrible things that replace it. I'm going to keep digging into this because I think it is quite significant. But I think that one of the biggest things that would have pushed them to do that is the public pushback on net zero and climate nonsense. You know, whether they're using an AI to scrape the internet for public sentiment or not, the reality is it wasn't working. It wasn't viable. It wasn't a plan that was going to work out for them. The whole net zero madness. And that is because of all of you taking the time to educate yourself, listening to people who tell you the truth, supporting the people that tell you the truth, but also sharing it in your private life and going out there and, you know, educating others, taking the time to educate others. I understand that it takes a long time to become an expert on all of these things, if you will. I will continue to do my best to present as much information in a way that's easily comprehensible for the masses as much as I possibly can. I'm not going anywhere, but I just want to say that is definitely, it can be attributed, whether it's due to a data scrape or whatever the case may be, it's because you didn't buy their climate BS. The reason that they had to pull back mandates was because you weren't buying them. You kept speaking out about them. So don't think that your resistance to this is absolutely futile. We've had wins along the way. I'm not just saying that to give people a fake pep talk either. I genuinely mean these words. When we look at some of the things that we've achieved over the time, you know, even getting the FDA to, or was it the CDC, to remove their stupid post about horse paste when it came to ivermectin. That was Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, who I hope to interview very soon as well. She's a little firecracker. I love her. Very, very excited to speak with her, hopefully very soon. You know, all of these victories along the way, we forget about them because we've been immersed in negative information, and I get it, and negative events, really. You know, the world is changing, but don't forget the good things that have happened. Don't forget the defeats, rather the victories that we have had, the defeats of the enemy that we have had. The net zero thing's massive, guys. That is huge. It's huge. Let's just wait and see what the real world effects are. I just saw, pardon me, Starlink is doing, you know, partnering with John Deere for smart agriculture. It's like, well, have we just gone from one dystopia to another? Because smart ag as a concept is freaking horrendous. We're talking about monitoring, you know, how much monitoring carbon emissions is one goal of smart ag. I'm not saying Starlink is going to do that, but monitoring carbon emissions, making, you know, enforcement of bioengineering, enforcement of things that are not good for plants based on what the, you know, the AI overlords say is nutrients when it's actually toxins, those types of things per Codex Alimentarius. I won't get into all of that. I'll end up talking for another 2 hours. You know, so that, you know, is that where it's going to go? I don't know. I'm watching all of this and I'm saying things are still very, very uncertain. So you have my word that I will keep reporting as much as I possibly can, as honestly as I possibly can for you all. Even if it keeps me as a little bit of an outsider, I'm okay with that. Because I'd rather tell the truth than, you know, be retweeted by Elon Musk or whatever. I had to throw that little dig in there. I just had to. AI Apocalypse, UN 100, Agenda 2045 Exposed. Go and watch it. And if you've watched it, watch it again or share it. This is, to this day, the most important expose we've ever done. Go to zeemedia.com, interviews page, search UN 100, and you will find it. God bless you all. Thank you all so much for your time and attention and your support. Remember that supporting our sponsors is the best way to support us. You've got Free the World Project Morocco, who have fantastic EMF protection products, all natural, all handmade from their own hands, in the link in the description below. You've also got Above Phone, a complete privacy phone solution de-Googled by people that we trust and we use personally. And you can get some great savings off bundles that are exclusive to Zeee Media viewers as well. So go and check out our sponsors, support them. That's the best way to support us. We really appreciate you all, and God bless. I'll see you all I'll see you all very, very soon. Again, we have the interview with Father Peter here. He is coming out. Also, hopefully very soon with Dr. Mary Tally Bowden. And if you haven't seen the interview with Karen Kingston yet, please go and watch it. God bless, and I will see you all soon. Good night. Zeee Media is proud to partner with freedom-loving businesses like Gold Bullion Australia Group, Australia's leading dealer of gold and silver bullion. In such uncertain times in the market, many are switching to lasting physical assets like gold and silver rather than depending on the crumbling financial system. GBA Group is an Aussie partner you can trust. They have a huge range of available gold and silver at competitive prices, a friendly, experienced team on standby for all of your questions, are family-owned and have been specialising in precious metals for over 40 years. They're looking forward to helping anyone that has come from Zeee Media, so click the link in the description below, visit one of their offices now spread across Sydney, the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Melbourne and Singapore, or call 1300 618 363 and consider securing your wealth today.